It's right there. Everybody just look at it.
We still have 84 pages, right?
Yeah, it should be able to get pages, but I only got 104. Why would that be?
No, time's up.
Oh, yeah, 84 pages. It's on the site here.
Yeah, right.
Used to say that. It's 7 o'clock on my computer here, so it must be 7 o'clock. Then I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock, pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you for being here. We are on line D now of our agenda. Approve the agenda.
You need to do roll call first?
Yeah, roll call. Gary?
Sure.
Mary?
Yes.
Karen?
Here.
Jason?
Here.
Ken's here. Okay, now I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented or with changes.
May I ask if you have on here a closed session?
Yeah.
Can we consider when we get there, if for the sake of people waiting around? Or maybe we just wait and see how it goes, but I'm just, it's not really a change to the content, it's a change.
It's not
in
gonna
order.
change anything and it can be moved.
Okay, I'm just thinking people might not want to sit.
I think people here, they don't need to want, well, they can't be here anyway, the whole session, so move that to the end, so. that-
Yeah, we'll move public comments out before then, before we go into it, so that if anyone wants to do it, and then we'll have public comments after, if someone stick around.
Right.
We'll have public comments whether they stick around. Okay, we can do that.
And Danielle submitted a new form. I don't know if we have to review her form or if we just use it.
Is
She
it
sent it
the
to
same amount of money or did it change the cost?
It's the, I think she sent it out to everybody,
Yeah, so
so I don't know.
I would say if the fee is the same, the information is probably
It's
the
just
same,
for
it's
her
just
work.
a different coordinate.
Okay,
And there were two items mentioned in a few different emails that I'm wondering if they should be on the agenda or if we're not prepared to take them up. One would be the cemetery maintenance. I know, Mary, you responded to that email. Has that been settled or do we need to discuss that and vote on anything? Okay. And then the email where you mentioned the planning commission process for text amendments. Is that a matter that you?
No, I just wanted to say that this was the process that I think we ought to have. We talked once about you and I getting together and making a checklist so that we got everything.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something that needed to.
No, I'm just letting you know that I really would like to have all that information if I'm up here making a decision. And maybe nobody else needs it. It could be the right thing to have to show that we looked at everything. So we're moving K to the end. We're adding one public hearing for public comment. Okay,
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the changes made.
I'll second.
got a motion by Mary, second by Karen. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Ayes carried. We have a guest speaker here, Stephen, Linda.
So I'm gonna first of all say thank you guys for electing Stephen and I as your Republican delegates. Kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown. Elections coming up. Here's some of the stuff that we're pushing. And if anybody else wants anything, just let me know. So we can get you.
You.
The office for the GOP is open. It's over in Paw Paw. It's at 804 South Kalamazoo Street. The office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 to 1. They have signs, they have literature, whatever you might want. We do have some Trump signs. If anybody's interested, I do have a few of these open tonight, so just let me know if you guys want one. And they do have more at the office. Have the email for them and also the website. And there's some more information. I'm just gonna give you one copy of this and you guys can share it and put it out there if you would like. Got a lot of stuff that's been going on. We went to Steve went to the convention in Grand Rapids right after Trump was shot and got some show. I mean, he's like 10 rows back from him, so that was really exciting for him. It's been really busy this year. So, but as far as they're out there knocking doors for Trump, anybody that wants to do that, just let Stephen know he's a team captain for that. So, is there any questions about that?
No, I don't think so.
Any information on what's going on? Just let us know.
Yeah.
GOP meetings are there's the fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay.
It's usually over at Paw Paw at the ISD Center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go into public comment. Anyone have any public comments for the board?
Is this regular public comment question?
Any public comment you have?
I'm just trying to look up the agenda. I would just like to say that I'm here, to say that I share 52nd Street, Grand Junction, Plum Township. I would just like to say that I don't think the board should approve the ordinance that I know they did so much work on for the battery storage facility, but it's an unenforceable ordinance. There's nothing you can do if anything in the ordinance, if they violate anything about it, you have to go to the state anyway. I feel like if you take your chances, let them go to the state and see if they get approved or not. They still have to deal with Eagle, they have to deal with the state regulatory, and just so you know, they're currently suing the state of Ohio because the state of Ohio said no to them on the project and they didn't like that, so they're taking that to the Supreme Court. Of course, Michigan, we know is probably going to say yes, but you don't know that for sure. And the only thing that I think about it is that if you say no and they have to do it, so be it, the state forced it on you. If you go along with it, you're just playing right into the hands of whoever made this law. For whatever reason, I don't know why Eagle all of a sudden has so much money that they can dole out millions of dollars if you approve. Why do they want people to approve if the state has the ultimate power? I don't know. Something that I think the board should consider.
Thank you. Anyone else? Linda?
So Bev had asked where the Eagle got all that money. They were given $40 million from the Senate to take out old dams within Michigan. And I'm wondering if they are misappropriating those funds. So that might be something you want to check about.
Thank you. Liz?
I agree with everything. So I don't think they should be right.
Thank you. Any other? Dave?
Dave Reba, 52nd Street here in Colby Township, and with dear board members, please be advised that I oppose the adoption of any ordinance favoring the 50th Street installation of the battery storage. Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving on to the consent agenda. Meeting minutes from September 24th. There's a special and regular meeting. Are there any comments on the special meeting? Nope. Gary?
No,
Any comments on the regular meeting, September 17th?
Looks good.
Nope. Okay, accounts payable, everyone have a chance to look up accounts payable? Any questions on accounts payable?
No.
Payroll expenses?
Did we get all the payroll for the whole month?
Yeah, there wasn't much. I actually went and did two, downloads. I didn't get the other one because I have the social security numbers on it, but I'm surprised I got that. But anyways, I'm
surprised
saying that,
too.
huh?
I'm
I am.
surprised too.
But anyways, there's a lot of, lot more detail to what count numbers they went into that, but this one just shows the check number.
Okay, there were probably two payrolls, but depending on the actual
They both
dates,
matched up,
yeah.
and one showed the ins, outs,
Yeah,
and all the
yeah.
journal entries, yeah.
The only comment I have about the payables is I'm happy to see that, there was some, definitions put in, or the reason what the account was written for. That's in the report now, which is helpful to me, so I don't have to ask questions.
Any questions on the, banking account balances?
Did the satellite account just jump because of the special assessment? Okay. That's what I thought.
Well, we gotta add a motion here. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mary Jason, this is a roll call, Gary,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
Jen, yes, Mary,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Okay, we're in reports. Anyone have any questions on the budget report? I'm gonna be starting to talk to departments probably, this month. JC, I need to sit with you at some point in time. You got, the biggest one that takes the longest time.
Okay.
So, you can schedule that with me. I'm pretty much available anytime. Gary, you getting all the information you need on it?
the budget.
Kinda.
Okay, well,
I've got a couple of questions, but I can postpone them because it's not, I don't think it's time yet. It's another day.
if you wanna talk to me off the board, we can sit down and go through that.
Yep, no problem.
Emergency services.
You guys have the report, in front of you that you know, 5 reports. I just wanted to point out that, we, except for February, every single month this year has outpaced every single month last year. So, just so you know, our call volume to date is up over last year this time. So there's that, putting that out there. We had an open house on Tuesday. We had about 30 people, rotating through. We had bounce houses and things out there and car cutting demonstration and people with popcorn and all that stuff out there. So that was a good day. We're all looking to keep getting bigger and better every year. We've done it now for a couple of years. There's that. We plan on handing out candy, on Halloween, at Station 1. I assume that there'll be no changes, right? You haven't talked about that, you don't know? You don't care? Okay. So I'll be handing out, the guys will be down there 5 to 7 on Halloween to hand out candy. So there you go. I would remind people that as the weather changes, make sure you have a coat with you. You might think that, oh, it'll be not too bad, but all of a sudden you're cold and now you're having a medical emergency, especially with those of us that are more mature than others. I was talking to Jeremy, yeah, right? So those are the things that we need to be aware of. If you want us to find you, it'd be nice if you had, 911 signs, the green signs, reflective signs. Otherwise, it'll take a minute, and flashing the lights in the house doesn't really help us too much. We actually need to see the green signs. Fire lanes, about a third of them are marked appropriately. The rest, I'm thinking of, I found, fire lane 29 not too long ago, and I dug it out because it was bent over underneath the pile of overgrown stuff. So if you want us to find you, you gotta be, we don't just know where everything is, because we know everything is. I think that's it.
Maybe keep an extra blanket in your car.
Extra blanket, I like blanket, I like a power bar or two. Hand warmers are a good thing. Bottled water's okay, but if it gets frozen, now you got a mess. So if you're gonna leave water in there, make sure it's only like 3/4 full.
But if
So when
somebody-
it does freeze, it
If
doesn't.
somebody's attacked you, you can throw that bottle at them.
Do that too. Yeah, Questions, comments, concerns? Good, that's what I thought.
You have a
We
mailbox?
authorized Dave, money for, fire lane signs a few years ago.
I just was gonna ask about that.
Do you need, we could put some in the budget for you.
That's new information. Didn't know that. So if
We
it,
wanna talk to you, cause he was gonna buy materials from Landers Hardware.
if that's something that I'm supposed to do or direct my people to do, that's super fine and dandy. I thought that was private, just tell me what needs to happen and give me the funds to do it. Oh, by the way, the mailbox is up, it's been up for a week and a half, something like that.
Getting deliveries there now?
No idea. Get it? Fancy, you know.
I believe that there was an amount that we approved or talked about maybe just before your time for the signs, and if people wanted to buy them themselves and put them together.
We
or-
do, no, we do have those for
That's
sale if people want them.
Okay, okay.
He's talking about
I'm
the fire
talking about fire
lane,
lane.
line 15, line 14,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
but they're selling other signs.
Okay,
We do have those for $20 and Joe can put those together,
yeah, okay.
and do that. But, as far as the fire lane numbers, and if people are using their, names, like Evergreen, I know Evergreen's on the island. But it's fire lane 27 gets you there fast.
Yes,
Fire lane 27 gets you to the right spot faster.
yep.
I'll get there eventually.
Deputy Sheriff,
Well, saw a bit of an uptick in the last 30 days with complaints throughout the township, taking an overall of 76. Again, majority of them traffic stops. We've seen a lot of recent fire versus deer accidents, as we're going to hunting season starting, deer are moving a lot more. So telling citizens to be mindful, pay attention when you're driving. Several key areas, uptick in assaults, each other, burglaries. Had, 4 of those in the last 2 weeks alone. And I suspect right before the snow flies, we'll see a few more. So just reminding people, if you don't have security cameras, it's never a bad investment. Always be locking your doors. The interior, exterior does not matter. Take the proper precautions when protecting your house and yourself.
And if you're leaving your car outside, you don't have a place to, put it inside, lock it up, lock the doors.
Absolutely, yep.
sir?
Meeting, I've got some activity reports, our current one handout here, you can kind of go through at your leisure. Also has a conservation department, health department reports on it. Then one thing we have coming up,
Pull the switch on.
oh. If you could post this, October 25th, we have a veteran stand down in Decatur. Very important if any veterans are available to come to that. So a lot of people show up there, a lot of things are set up and they can get all kinds of help that they may need. So if you can post that someplace, I would appreciate it. And then I guess a couple of other things just to mention. I think I mentioned before, we reviewed 3 master plans for 3 different companies, and we wound up awarding it to Tower Pinkster. They're gonna be our long range planner for what we want to do at the county. And this is like a really long range because we don't have any funds right now. The funds are gonna come from when Palisades reopens. Those taxes are gonna be set aside in a special fund just for some building updates and things like that at the courthouse and stuff. So kind of stay tuned on that. And I don't know if you heard, of course, the feds approved the $1.5 billion loan to restart Palisades. Still has to be approved by the regulatory commission. So that's all I have. Questions?
How much was
concerns?
that? How much should they approve?
1.5.
Well, one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but, I either heard or read or was notified or found out. Anyway, my question is this. I believe the state is gonna start now asking the different counties in the state for paybacks on some of the loans that were made to them in the past. Do you know anything?
The only thing I've heard about is if you have any funds out there, they're talking about these clawbacks. If you have money,
Callbacks?
they're
Okay.
called clawbacks, not clawbacks. 'Cause
Oh,
they-
yeah, okay.
So, if you have funds that you haven't spent, I heard that they might be looking at that and trying to
Okay.
get some of those back. I did not hear anything about the others, so,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
but I'll let you know. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Well, any, the board members want to comment on their reports?
I have a question for Kurt.
For who?
Kurt,
Sir,
I'm
question?
sorry, we sent over to the county commission, to the planning commission, a couple of different text amendments. One, we heard back officially, I believe, on the battery storage. Do we have unofficial or official information on other packets?
Discuss that later on, or you kind of want to go over it now a little bit?
I don't, did we want to put that on the agenda, or I think it's not technically on the agenda, that other item?
I mean, we
But it
did not
ties in.
concur with the second one. I have the, I took notes and have the reasoning that we looked for, if you concur or not concur, so, discuss that if you like, or I can get you the note on it.
What's the typical process for the notification on that, Kurt? I know on
Well, I
the,
called yesterday, of course, they didn't work yesterday because of the day off, and, Lisa said she was gonna get it out today, I don't know. She sent me a text late that she got some out, so I don't know if I might have gotten sent out late to you guys. It's supposed to get sent back,
does it typically get routed to the clerk though?
For Natasha?
yeah, I don't know,
Okay,
yeah, I would find out for sure, yeah.
because I think on the got routed and we ended up, going to grab your minutes from your meeting to see what was discussed, but that might be something to learn.
Okay, well, and it should be routed to the clerk or else maybe the head of the planning commission, I don't know.
Okay.
So I'll find out.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we all get it right.
Thanks.
Okay. And then, like I said, I have the other things that, we can go over that or not.
I think we can just take that up when we get
I
official notification.
I would concur with that, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kurt.
Any other township board?
Does Michael want to talk about the cemeteries?
Hmm?
Michael Douglas? Or Sexton? See what I'm talking about the cemeteries? Mike, did you want to say anything about the cemeteries? You good? Okay.
I think we got it, right?
Yep, we're under control.
You good, Mary?
I'm Karen.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Emergency service, I didn't have anything on the agenda. Your budget looking good?
We're right in the glide path.
Okay, we're gonna move on to unfinished business. We met with our township attorney and we have no actions to take from that meeting, so J1 is nothing to be discussed. Parking lot discussion. Gary, have you heard anything?
Well, I didn't get any feedback in time for the publication the last time on the reminder, so we're gonna. The only difference we need to do, if everybody's looked at this and it's fine, is October 14th, obviously, which is gone, to November. I would suggest November 15th. That is the day, that's the Friday before our next meeting. So they can send them in before that, but the deadline to get any bids for the invitation for the parking lot bids, I can change the 15th on November and get it sent in and get it done.
I was out looking at the lights the other day.
Yeah.
I was out here in the dark and I noticed our sign wasn't lit up. And then I got to thinking that the only thing that's changed between our lights and now is they drilled that, cable, high-speed cable
Fiber
underground,
optics.
and they may have hit our wire. And that's what would be where the fault would be. Thought. I thought the sign was working up until,
I think you're right.
so that might be where it actually might not be from here to there, it might be from there to,
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
just thought.
So we should have somebody diagnose that.
We don't wanna try to pre-guess the cost of this,
Right.
and we've already authorized something, right? At a
Up to
pre-
$5,000.
So we don't need to do anything else on that besides the discussion.
No, we should just notify probably drilling here, and have them check it. And there should be no cost to that. It was their baby.
So are you going to?
I will do that. I will get a hold of Bloomingdale and I'll get a hold of Meg.
It's
It
Matt.
would be Matt,
It would be Matt
It is
Bloomingdale that
Matt?
come out
let
here.
Matt put that in.
Okay, then that's what I'll do.
Okay, snow plowing discussion. We need to add the transfer station to did we get any information on that?
We don't have a bid yet.
We don't have a bid yet? Can I get a motion to postpone that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's Mary and Gary, all in favor, say aye. All right, carried. Okay, we're not gonna enter into the closed session at this time. We're gonna move over to new business. Renewable energy ordinance. Nothing to say?
I was hoping to see Mr. Marcelletti, I wanted to ask about their emails. And I don't know if anybody here can answer the questions or not. So everything that Tasha sent to us was in the packet, pretty much, right?
Everything that Tasha sent you is in the package, correct?
Okay,
And then I had the two memos from planning commission members.
okay.
We did not in the package have the notice that, for the special, for the public hearing. To review what it said versus what we're doing.
You just confused me. Can you explain what you're talking about?
Well, part of the process is you have a public hearing to notify the public of the action going on. And does that action that we did in the public hearing match what we're doing
For the battery storage.
for the battery storage?
Well, according to the July 29th minutes, the public hearing was shown in there. It was open for public hearing in Texas Amendment for battery storage, draft battery and storage ordinance. And
But there's no discussion on the residential areas.
That was in the early packets. The residential areas were part of the early
Package
text drafts. Yeah.
area, we're notified.
Are you saying that on a text amendment, that you send a public hearing notice to every single household?
No, I'm just saying that you have to list the address or the zoning district that you're in.
That's when you have a specific incident, right? Not when it's in a text amendment that's a general change. I see a puzzled look on your face and I'm puzzled. I don't get what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
I
need
think
clarification.
text amendment has no physical place. It's language. So
If I were gonna change something at my house, but when you're doing a text amendment, that's the whole township, right? And do we?
But you're adding something to your zoning ordinance that had many public hearings to be generated, right?
Yes.
And the zoning ordinance law says that you're gonna revise it in accordance with the way that you did it originally, right?
I don't know that that's correct.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you're getting at either.
What I'm saying is that when you go out to do your public hearing, did you notify everybody that is listed district-wise that is now in the ordinance as having a change to their district by adding residential batteries? I'm sure you did the ag. I'm not sure you did the residential.
I'm still confused that, are you saying there's an individual mailing to everybody in
No,
ag
no,
or
when
everybody?
you put out your ad, you say, this is gonna affect the,
Okay, so now,
agricultural district greater than 10 acres, because you gotta have 15, therefore it's gonna affect that. And this is gonna be for battery storage, system for.
so you're
basically
asking a
industrial use.
question, did the public notice,
Includes
say
the
in-
environmental.
do we have a copy of what your public notice said?
I would think you do,
It might be in here.
but I'm not sure what you're driving at, though. When we
Well,
set
I'm
any,
sure all the agricultural people had an opportunity to come in and voice their opinion, right?
but I don't think we specified even agricultural. I think we made a notice of a public hearing as required by our ordinances, you know, like
July
correct.
for the banner.
Like I said, I didn't get it.
you didn't get public notice.
I don't have it in my package. That's why I said, I'm
So
just
you
trying
don't
to,
know what notice was
Yeah.
published.
yeah, I mean, if you
You
tell
don't
me
know
you're
what was in the
okay with everything that's
newspaper,
in the
you
notice,
don't
I'm
know
fine.
what was- You don't know what was on the door and you don't know what was in the newspaper? Is that what you're saying?
Correct, I didn't look at the newspaper and
Okay.
I see the door.
So now we know what you're asking for.
I expected to get it in my package.
Okay,
I also expected to get, an application for a zoning ordinance change.
From Vesper.
no,
Pardon? I handed it to them, that's what they paid the bill for.
All right.
a notice for a zoning ordinance change.
Yeah,
So you're
somebody comes in
saying
and wants
this
to change.
came about by Vesper requesting this? to
Yeah,
begin
and they
with,
paid a fee to do
And
that
they
and
paid a
provided the
fee.
application. And now we don't have the application here before.
But we don't know if it came to Tasha. Or do we?
I should knew that she got paid $500 for it.
Okay, so what are you asking? Would you like to see it, or what are you saying?
Well, I'm saying it's supposed to be part of the package. I mean, go through it. It's supposed to take you through all the steps to get there, and at the end, it talks about any questions or concerns, and then you get to write at the bottom that is approved by the board on blah, blah, blah. It's like your document that does the tracking and stuff.
I guess I can't speak for why Tasha did or I don't.
I think that, at this point, this should be, postponed maybe to the next meeting. And find out from Tasha if that in fact was done and maybe why it wasn't included in the packet, if it was necessary, in the first place. She's a zoning administrator. She's been doing this for a long time, and, I would think that that was a requirement or needed to be placed in the packet. But
Well, and I'm
We-
gonna ask a silly question. You put the agenda together, right? And you put all the information you have together.
Correct.
Did you reach out to Tasha or anybody to ask for what it was that you wanted?
Well, that was,
And then we could have had a.
I was doing this on
tonight?
Saturday, if you remember. I mean,
yeah, but you must have got the packet,
But-
the information before that to put it together.
we're still getting stuff on Saturday. I think the Dave Marcelletti letter was on Saturday, wasn't it?
No, that was brought to the planning commission on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That didn't come up right, but it did.
I don't, I mean, the item as you presented on the agenda is whether there's a motion to approve, deny, or send back to PC for further consideration, the draft ordinances for the battery storage system, correct?
That's all I thought we were looking at.
that's the issue-
is
that's the
the
issue that
draft
we're talking
ordinance,
about.
Not whether or not anything for Vesper specifically is approved or not approved.
No, because we're not there yet.
Well, that's not, yeah, we're not even there yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not sure. In order to put this on the agenda, Ken, what were your expectations? You have it on here for a reason. Because you
Well,
thought something was.
I sent you a
ready
little
or not
email
ready.
telling you what my expectations was shortly after the last time that we came here and approved something with nothing.
And I thought your email was in reference to the other text amendment. I didn't know it
I
had
was-
anything to do with
I
it.
was trying, I expect to get this.
And if you don't get all of your little items, then you want us to just skip over stuff?
I just want to ask if it was done, because that's what I'm asking right now. Did you do it? Because I can't get it from that. Did you do it?
Okay, I stand with my last comment that, since that seems to be an impasse in your mind that you need this, and it may be required. I have no idea. But I think we should, pursue this a little bit more with the zoning administrator and ask exactly what, put the question to her is, was this done or was it not done? And do we need it? Or do we not need it?
I'd like to include the planning and zoning attorney. I would like to get this wrapped up once and for all. What we need in general, regardless of what topic it is. And if we
I
need a
think we need a
checklist, we
checklist.
have a checklist.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to come to the table and think we're ready to move, and then we have an impasse. Now, in theory, we could run right over you and.
Correct.
Okay, but that would be foolish.
I feel like you have the information. I'm still confused by this. I mean, we have
Well-
this item and then we have a closed session
You-
about this.
Listen, you got 5 people here. You need 3 people to pass this. If you're gonna pass it, you can pass it. You don't need me. I'm just telling you why I'm hesitant to do anything with it. Okay? If you guys wanna pass it, pass it.
I personally feel like, I still feel like this agenda is slightly out of order because of the letter that we received from our attorney that you have in a closed session that we need to discuss. In my mind, we should discuss that first before we make any decision.
I could tell you that document that you have there will have nothing, does not have anything to do with what you're doing right now. It will not affect your decision one bit, that letter.
I'm not so sure I agree with that. It sure would be good to have some of this information about the conversations you're having before we have to
I had
have
that.
discussion about it in our agenda. Well, what do you want to do with this then?
It's up to you guys. I'm just telling you what my concerns are. If others people got concerns or not, you can do what you want.
Well, let me tell you what some of my concerns are. I think we got a note from our zoning administrator recommending we talk to our attorney. So I recommend we do that. We have 2 attorneys. We've got the planning and zoning and we've got Foster Swift. I think we should get with Catherine on this. This is planning and zoning. And one of the things, in the ordinance that is missing in my head is anything to do with Made in America. That's not in there right now. That would be important to me if this goes forward. So I'm making that comment now. Otherwise, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't think we're ready to move on this.
Well, there's a
Tonight.
couple other, and they're minor, but things that I found in here that have the wrong county on it. So, anyway, those are minor, those are just overlooked things from probably a template or something that we used. But anyway, since that information is from our attorney, the other thing that I'm a little confused about is, Foster Swift alludes to a Creole. Well, we're not doing Creole. But anyway, that's just my thoughts here. So I think that, my original comment stands. I think we should check with, and add Catherine to the list because she is with the planning commission. And, I hate to belabor this, and I think, Jason, you've done a really good
Yeah.
job of finding out information. And I don't want to,
We do need to give him credit for all the work he's done.
absolutely, and I don't mean to beat up on you after all this is done, because you've done a good job.
I told him that at the last meeting.
At the direction of this board and planning commission. So you're not just,
Well,
what do you call it? Carrying water for
Well,
an entity?
thank you
were
for the
doing your
recognition, but I'm
job.
not doing it for that. I mean, that's where I'm a little confused, is I feel like I was kind of given the directive to carry the ball to a certain point, and I've done that.
Right.
And now I don't know what else you want. I mean, you have it on the agenda, Ken, and it sounds like you have a specific thing you want to see happen, and I don't know what that is.
What I read, I like. I don't like the residential being in there. I don't like saying 1 megawatt for residential. It feels like 1 megawatt of power can serve 1,000 homes. Now, that's if you have continuous 1 megawatt. And I don't think we should be allowing that in there. I don't think the state law talks about discussing more than 50 megawatts in this ordinance. You should be kept with a 50 to 200 is in the state, right? 50 to 200, something like that, whatever the state says.
I think it's above 50, but
Yeah, 50 is up to 200 is what I thought I read, what they're proposing. And I think we should stay with that and not put the residential in. Because residential, the gas is, my house only, at worst, last year did 900. It averages 550. And that means for me to do that with a 12-volt battery, I still need a lot of batteries, like maybe 100. All depends on the rating, and whether they're high charge. At 12 volts, you go to 48 volts, you need less
Okay,
battery.
you're going down a tangent.
We're going down the thing. I'm just saying that without knowing that, and you say, 1 megawatt, I'm not sure you understand that a household isn't gonna be 1 megawatt. But
do we want, okay,
So you're not on the planning commission, so you don't get to raise all these things during a planning commission meeting. We
No.
could go through all your individual things now, but would it be a better use of time to have a different workshop?
I think we probably ought to have a workshop with the planning commission and get all of us together along with our attorney between now and the next meeting so that we can settle everything.
Jason, you've been on this from the get-go, which, and I said, you've done a good job, I think. So based on what Catherine has said and the information that you've been able to gather, what would your, without trying to, what would your recommendation be? I'm just gonna say it.
okay.
You probably have more knowledge than anybody else on this board.
I mean, I guess this is for the benefit of everybody here as well. Hopefully that the board sees benefit of this too, but I'll just recap the process. When we received notification of PA 233 passed by the state of Michigan, we contacted our attorney. We talked about the ramifications of PA 233 and how that basically gave the state power to step in and essentially regulate our ordinances in the renewable energy sector. Everybody good there? When we took that up as a board for discussion of what do we do about this, we agreed that we wanted to charge the planning commission with trying to create a workable ordinance plan.
Correct.
That would hopefully put our township in a better position in terms of the ordinances that we could actually write and adopt than just burying our head in the sand and letting the state dictate that. So we did that. We worked with our attorney. We looked at various different ordinances. We drafted our own version of that we thought was the best for the township. We sent it back to the attorney. She concurred with it. We voted as a planning commission. Now, keep in mind, this is strictly on the ordinances. We're not voting on the project itself. We're just saying our township, if we want to control our own destiny, we should try to write our own ordinances. That's all we were doing. So I guess we're kind of at the magic moment where the planning commission did that. We voted unanimously to recommend these ordinances to this board. But before it gets to the board, it goes to the county planning commission. They reviewed it and concurred with our recommendation. That's correct, Kurt?
Yes.
Okay, concurred with our recommendation to adopt these ordinances. So that's where it sits. The ordinances have been recommended by the planning commission, concurred by the county planning commission. And now it's up to us to say, do we want them? Do we not want them? Do we want to kick it back to the planning commission and change them? That's where I think we are at this moment.
Okay, so after all that's been said,
Mhm.
and now that it's been said, all this is gonna do is put in place an ordinance that we can use in our township. It does not, it does not give us we don't approve anything other than an ordinance.
That is correct. We are approving the language of a new ordinance for our township.
Correct.
If
Correct.
this board voted to adopt it, we would say, yes, these are our new ordinances, simply as it relates to battery storage.
Yeah.
And just to get it out there, there is an approach where we could say, as Beverly recommended, let's just let it go to the state and see what happens.
Because the ordinances are unenforceable anyway.
Well, I'm not sure exactly why you're saying that, and
Because by law, they can just have the project. It doesn't matter if you have an ordinance or not.
I guess I would want to check.
But you can enforce an ordinance on it. That's,
I can't confirm that that's true or not, but
should know that.
Well, I can tell you that the things that happened with ARPA money were rushed through and everything else, and even our commissioners said, no, we might want to look at this a little bit more, because now other people said, no, the state made this and it's a done deal and they don't change their mind. Well, everybody in this room knows the state can change their mind.
of
Everybody.
course.
So,
Of course, and I think it bears saying that approval of the ordinance, as you said, and approval of the project are two completely separate
Correct.
things.
correct.
Once the ordinances are approved, then Vesper would need to submit a special use application with all the project details. And then that would go back to the planning commission for, again, recommendation to approve or deny, and then it comes to the board, just like we always do with special use applications. So that's the project piece of it. I think all we're trying to do in this phase is get ordinances that we believe at least are in the benefit of our township. And it's good that we're doing this, because it's not just battery storage. We have to, we still have to talk about wind and solar and all the other renewable energies that are, there's projects to purchase and all that. So
Yep.
we can either just say, we're not gonna deal with any of these ordinances, we're gonna let the state bring it all down however they want, or we can try to do what we think is better. So,
Once you put this ordinance in place, any individual that can come in and meet all that criteria that we have in that zoning ordinance has to be provided a permit.
That's right. That's right.
that's
Understand
correct.
that?
That is correct.
So the ordinance is the approval. As long as they meet the requirements.
And that's why we want to make the requirements more stringent than the states.
Talking a few more feet and setback at a wetland. So what?
Well, sorry that you feel that way. We added a lot more to the ordinances than that the state, compared to the state, but
What we're really in a position here is, we're between a rock and a hard spot, basically. Because
absolutely.
most of the people and are, I would say, opposed to this. And again, I might add is maybe some of that opposition is because this is new technology, and anytime you get out of your little comfort zone, you're never exactly sure what's gonna happen. And I have some personal opinions, but they don't township. For the township, I would rather have what our attorney had mentioned, and she's been on the state board and worked with this and everything else, a workable ordinance that can at least help our township in some way get what we would really like to have done. Now, being enforceable or not is another level. And those can always change too. They could be very enforceable, or they could pick and choose and say, this is enforceable, this is not because. So my view as a board member, not my personal view, my view as a board member is that all this work's been done. It's been checked by the attorneys twice. It's been, reviewed. It's gone to the county planning commission. They reviewed it. And if it's deemed as a workable ordinance, I think it is. I think it's the best thing we can do for the township. That's my view. I don't hear anybody else talking.
I don't think it's ready to vote on. I think there's a few more things that need to be looked at. And this has been in the hopper, how long already? For more than a year?
I think our planning commission was formally first approached in December, maybe last December. It was before I was on the planning commission.
Is there any way we can limit the number of these that we put in our township, like we do with marijuana?
I don't think so.
Could you ask Catherine that?
And Ken, back in June, you sent out a proposed ordinance.
Correct.
So if they had just chosen to go with what you sent in the first place, would you still have the same questions now? Did this satisfy everything you're looking for?
That was just a copy of another plant that gave them an idea. I told them they didn't have to use it. I read it. I modified it to Columbia Township and I sent it off and it could be workable, but I think if we can limit the number of these we have, because we have our zoning ordinance, that in one of the first statements in our zoning ordinance, it states that we want to remain a rural, natural farming area community.
That's true. You also mentioned in one of your emails that in the master plan, people showed interest in renewable energies.
They put us at the top. We haven't done that plan yet or made decisions on how we do it. I would say this is part of it.
Correct.
Okay,
And I think it's good that we are talking about this, but like I said, if we can eliminate some of this, like not get one right after another, which I don't think on the power line, that you wouldn't have one in another 15 miles or so from a battery or more.
From a technical perspective, a large part of the value would be mitigated by one.
You need a booster
The
somewhere.
other thing I think was mentioned, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they said if the line doesn't support it, you can't put it there.
Yeah, so we're going through an
And so-
injection
and so
capacity
There may
analysis.
only be one area that this is a possibility to have this type of,
Yeah,
so it's self-limiting because it wouldn't be financially feasible.
you know, and also lines are only, as Ken knows very well, lines are only rated for allowing a certain amount of electricity. Which is the independent system operator is sized, to kind of, accommodate that available capacity within that line. And so it doesn't, you know,
So the probability of us having two of these in the township would be slim to none.
it would have to be, from my understanding, would have to be on a different transmission line and, you know, there may be one 20 miles away from here. But it's not gonna be, for all intents and purposes, 50 plus megawatts would need to be in the same, township. A smaller distribution.
So that was kind of what I was thinking when I was looking at this.
so are you saying that, we should, postpone this until our next,
Well, I think Ken told us that he's not satisfied with some information he believes to be missing from tonight. And he gave an email that outlined that.
I outlined
Like,
all
if
the
we
stuff
were
I
to
was
look at
looking
that-
for, but you know, again, I start off with the beginning. What public did we bring in to discuss this with? Now, if we brought in the whole township, so be it. But if we only brought in the ag district greater than 10 acres to to
We
provide
did
public
bring
comment
in
for
the
this,
whole-
then we're missing all the ag, or all these residential people that,
These people are residential that came.
they live in the ag district,
Okay, man, okay.
and they're probably greater than 10 acres.
So you think you haven't heard from the smaller dwellings? Is
I don't
that-
think I heard from the R1, R2, and RO, and industrial.
Can I say something about the electric that you guys were just talking about, please? You guys were talking about not enough room on the power, okay? Those power lines consumers bought, which is whoever owns it now. There's another 100 foot there that they own right away. It's not right away, it's their property. They can absolutely put another line in there. So your question, can they put one next door? Yes, they could, because there's already
Well,
available.
transmission line
I understand.
a little while ago, so
It's actually, energy storage projects negate the need for more transmission lines. It's one of the advantages. So a large reason why transmission lines are needed is because energy is needed to be transported to other places. But if you have an energy storage project located near to usage, it can actually negate the need for more transmission lines.
Okay.
Transmission lines are very expensive. They're approximately $1 million a mile. And they impact larger swaths of people than.
how's Palisades gonna affect you when they come back online in 2 years?
So we're gonna work in concert. Our Palisade serves as base load. Our project will serve as peaking load. So kind of right now, as the sun is going down, everybody's energy usage is going up. Palisade will take to make sure the rest of it is covered.
They're also putting in 2 other nuclear power plants, both of them 100 megawatt, so they have a little over 1,000 megawatt total.
Yeah, again, the working energy storage is an enhancement of existing and future generation capability because generation sources don't have the ability to store electricity outside of energy storage. And so, you know, that capability is very valuable to the electric grid. So if anything, it will enhance the capabilities of consumers' existing system.
Mary, comments?
I want to clear up one piece of this, I think. The residential piece of this that you brought up, Ken, I think, I guess I wanna maybe double check this for 100% accuracy with Tasha, because we hire her to do our zoning administration.
Right.
And many of the steps in this process, we followed her lead on, rightly so. She's the professional. You mentioned she's been doing this for 25 years. This notice of public hearing was placed based on the actions that we were taking to draft these ordinances. I think you might be conflating the residential piece with the ordinance in a way that it shouldn't be, because the ordinances are written to cover, what did you call it, Rich? Over 50 megawatts. What's the technical term for that?
Large
50
scale?
50 megawatts.
Not commercial grade, but what?
Utility.
Utility scale. So these ordinances are to regulate utility scale projects. The residential piece doesn't even really have any description in it because it's similar to how we don't regulate a residential solar panel. Like, we allow our residents to put up a solar panel to provide energy to their home. If somebody wanted to put a small scale battery storage unit to have backup power for their house, I think when you say the notice of public hearing didn't invite the residential district, I don't know that we were required to do that. I mean, the public notice went out to the whole township and we just said, hey, this is what we're talking about. You need to come to this public hearing, which in my understanding is the correct process. So maybe we need to consult with Catherine on the districts to this, but I don't think that's the case because the ordinances we wrote don't impact a residential battery storage unit. They are for utility scale units. Does that make sense or answer your question?
Then why are you changing the residential in your text amendment?
Because currently our ordinances don't include any language about a battery storage system at all. So you know this, when you rewrite an ordinance, you have to go through every section of your ordinance that it might impact. And if we're saying that a residence can have a small scale battery storage unit on their property, it has to be amended too. It has to show up in each of the sections of the ordinance. Correct.
It's on the track, it's coming.
So I don't know if that removes your reluctance to discuss this any further, Ken, but I think I at least wanted to address that piece because I don't think we did the process wrong as it relates to that. I think our notice of public hearing was correct. The steps we followed in that regard were correct. So we didn't omit any specific districts in the process.
It says on-site battery energy storage with an aggregated energy capacity of more than 1 megawatt are subject to additional regulations in the applicable fire code, and required documentation shall be submitted along with the building electrical meter, and that is in section 419. So you can have more than 1 megawatt, you just gotta get a building permit, and it says on-site battery storage system is allowed in the R1 district, R2 district, RO district, be 10 and over, and in the commercial district and in the industrial district.
I believe all the residential districts you listed are specified at less than 1 megawatt though.
I'll read it to you again. This is on-site battery storage system. Oh, I think, I understand what you're saying. There was a caveat up here that said they had to be less than 1 megawatt.
Right.
Correct.
So that means they could be just under 1 megawatt, which is still pretty huge. Off-site, on-site.
Get definitions at the beginning.
Yeah, the definition of what's the on-site?
Keep in mind that the template that we used as a starting point for our ordinances was given to us by Catherine and her work with the state and MTS on a structural template for townships to start
They're
with.
basically saying an on-site battery storage is allowed in all districts. An on-site one, and an on-site battery storage system, more than 1 megawatt are subject to additional regulations, and it basically fire code and documentation, so you can have over 1
With other regulations.
in the residential. And it's, you think anyone would put in 1 megawatt at their house? Come on.
No, so
No,
for every.
that's why it's ridiculous.
Edification, 1 megawatt would be approximately 1 shipping container or half of the battery, so it's a little bit,
What would it cost to put in a 1 megawatt at your house? About $81,000? No, higher than that? I read online, it's 81,000 just for the batteries. If you
Our understanding as well, Ken, is that we as a board can make minor revisions to these draft ordinances for the purposes of, so you could make a motion to change the 1 megawatt to a half a megawatt or whatever.
As I told you before, I do not like making revisions here because this wonderful person here has made me have an attention to that sometimes we need to sit back and think and do the right thing, and we should not make changes while we're up here or make fast decisions. And I agree with her 100%.
Wow, that's the first time you've ever said
No, I think I told you that once before when you went and told me that, we shouldn't be.
on the board at the time. The ARPA,
Crap.
in
You're absolutely right.
hindsight, we should have done that differently.
Definitely, we should have waited, like Gary said. So I think we ought to postpone this till next meeting.
But.
If you wanna
not
meet
a
with
whole
them,
month,
huh?
Not a whole month. This should be.
Well, I would actually like to sit down with the planning commission and Catherine and all of us get together and solve everything. I
Now,
think a
my
joint meeting
guess
might be
is-
good.
My guess is they already did what they were supposed to do, but they have not satisfied what you wanted them to do.
Yeah.
But we should probably still get that figured out and done, not just for this one, but for future things.
Well, let me ask you, you think the residential district should be in this ordinance?
I'm interested where that came from.
It has really nothing to do with
I'm under the impression, I know the ordinance is separate from our project, and I'm under the impression that our properties are agriculturally zoned.
yeah, they are.
Are allowed within zoning ordinances for electrical substations, battery storage facilities within, more urban locations. And, so I'm sure there's room to tweak that down to, be below, 20 megawatts or most traditional residential size plots not gonna fit. And so,
To be clear, that is not in our ordinance. We don't have utility scale allowed in residential. Just-
okay,
That's
gotcha,
not-
okay.
Just in our.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah, I'm not, it is in a lot of ordinances, but,
Yeah.
it's not as common as an agriculture. Sure.
Okay, anyone want to make a motion? Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to postpone for a special meeting. Time and date to be determined later. I got a motion in, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Karen, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
But we have discussion before we vote, correct? Um, are we going to still enter into closed session, to discuss the letter from our attorney? Because I still hold the position, it sounds like you had a conversation, further conversation with them that we have not been privy to. So I'm just going off the letter, and I feel like the letter at least alerted me that there could be potentially other information to consider in any decision. So could we have that letter be part of our postponed meeting with, like, I feel like that needs to enter into the conversation. So what, if we don't do it
That's
tonight?
a privileged information letter, and I think once we get in the closed session, you'll understand that, basically what's going on a little bit more than what you have. And I don't think you'll need to do anything with that letter. It will not pertain to this at all.
Okay.
What you're doing, it has no, effect or, change that you'll be doing. I can tell you that.
I'm very curious to hear how that's the case, but. Okay.
It, that may help you. Okay. I said, all in favor, say aye. I said aye. No one else?
I'm an aye.
To
For a
postpone it.
postpone?
Yeah,
I'm an aye.
you're an aye. I got two ayes.
No,
You're a no?
no,
Thank you. You're a no?
I'm a no.
Well, that's what happens when you wait.
I already said aye.
You already said aye? I haven't got Karen down as an aye. So we have three. Motion carried. Did you want the planning commission involved with this or not?
Well, I mean, this is new territory for me. I think if it's going to be kicked back to the planning commission, I would, as the rep to the planning commission, I can probably say safely that the entire planning commission is gonna wanna know specifically what this board's issues are, or specifically what about the ordinances we don't like, or the general approach if we're changing our mind and we don't wanna have, or like, yeah.
I think at that meeting, that's what we're gonna
Okay,
do. We're gonna
alright.
sit down and kick it down the road until we get it done.
Cause I think there will be, I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything else. I mean, kinda like the planning commission did what we were supposed to do and what this board asked us to do, and then it's coming back, so we're gonna need to know.
We asked you to get us something, we wanted something in the thing that we could get in time to be able to get money, and you've done that very
Okay.
well, so. Get with me, we'll set up a joint meeting and we'll try to.
Okay.
Set a time and that, and then I'll let everybody know, and I'll throw it out on the agenda as soon as I can, and we'll post it on our website, and maybe we'll get something in a reminder. We're gonna move on from L1, that's painful. Go to Eagle. Eagle now wants an annual report of activities at the transfer station. And probably all that information is on our billing from, Best Buy. So I guess I'd like to gathering that and put it in on a spreadsheet so that we can give the report to the, Eagle.
Do they just need copies of those?
No, they don't want to have, they want a report. They even got, I think I gotta fill out online that is the report, which basically is how much tonnage we use per month.
Is Butch capable of helping on this?
I think it's on the bill.
Well,
It's on
It's
the
all on the
invoice.
bill.
I will work with her to do that. I just want to make sure that, we get authorization from the township board to use that task. That, technical person to do that task without.
and this task is to keep track of the number of tires that come in?
Well, I have Butch doing that, and, they're not curious about the number of tires.
It's the tonnage of waste,
What are they curious about?
the tonnage of waste.
Tonnage or number of yards of,
Waste.
Oh,
waste
yeah,
that we
yeah,
take.
okay,
So that's on their bill. The tires is, Grand Branch County Conservation.
sure, okay.
And, they said we can't have any more than 200, and we gotta get that.
So
Do we need a motion on that, or are we just good knowing about it?
I don't think we need a motion.
I don't,
Don't need a motion.
I don't,
You're gonna take care of that for me, and,
Sure.
okay. Now, what do we gotta do? We gotta go back up to,
Did you want to give people
Public comments.
public comment?
yeah, I'm gonna give you public comment now, and then if you wanna stick around, I'll open it back up for public comment afterwards. Any public comment?
Jason, I just want to tell you that I checked on it. Everything goes back to Tasha, since she is the one that sends it to the county.
Okay,
So we can, I'll get with you, we can get an email or two to send it, I think, I'll talk to Lisa.
okay. I mean, that's helpful just to know that she should be the one expecting it. Okay, thanks.
Linda?
So you guys were talking about the line, electrical line that was hit by MEC. The village had, when MEC came through, they had a lot of our lines. I have a contact person if Gary needs it.
So Matt,
Want to get with me tomorrow or something, or I can get you that information?
okay,
Will they come out and fix it?
I'm still fighting with them on it.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, we had some major damage. One of our sewer lines or drain lines was hit. Caused a 4-inch big old hole in.
4 foot sinkhole.
4 foot, yeah. Sinkhole. Mystic, so you may have to call Mystic and see if they got actual,
send it to my trustee email.
I will do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Beverly?
I just wanted to say on the ordinance thing is that once you do put this ordinance in place, you're correct, Ken, if they meet the requirements of the ordinance in the application they submit, there's no way that you can deny it. And, you're forgetting about the law before 234, whatever the numbers are, the small law that says that if they spend, I think it's like 1,500 or 10,000, it's a very small amount for a company. If they spend that much money and all, it could be just something as small as making an access road, they're vested in the rights of that project from then on. So then even if the state changed their mind and said, well, we don't really think this needs to go there. We think this needs to go somewhere else because this is a for-profit venture. It's not something that's actually feeding people's homes with power. Then you're stuck. So that's just something to think about.
Anyone else? Anyone plan on sticking around? So we're, done with the closed session? No? Everyone leaving? Well, now'll be the time to leave.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Is there correspondence or announcements?
Have anything, well, we got something from Roger Flanagan on that, the text amendment keeps challenging it. What's the township board? Public hearing.
How do we know?
You can eat it.
Once the door closes, walk out.
Are we,
Thanks, Casey.
are we gonna finish it here?
Thanks, Linda.
Are we gonna finish the closed meeting?
Yeah.
Then we need to shut off the recording, right?
Yep, we need to stop recording.
Have you shut off our recording?